movies or TV show or something. Also, this book called Through the Glass. It's like about ballerinas. Well, a ballerina and like an abuse she had when she was in school. I think that would be amazing. And my favorite book is Women That Run with the Wolves, which is an amazing book, but very hard. But I think it has a lot of like short stories. So maybe one of like the little stories that it tells, it's like mythology. And so it's maybe a little bit more complicated, but I think that would be amazing to try.
The next question about House of the Spirits is that it's a very Latin American story, and I'm curious to know, what do you think the rest of the world can learn from this specific Latin American story?
Yes, it's very Latin American, but at the same time, it's very relevant nowadays. I think I'll give you an example. It presents very polarized society, like a few decades ago when the novel was written. And the show also presents a very polarized society in the 1970s, in the 1960s. But it is interesting because that is also all over the world. I think that right now we've been so lost between lefts and rights. But what happened with up and down? So I think, in a certain way, that is going to impact not just the region, but also in many other parts of the world.
Yeah, it talks about love and family and generational trauma and so many things that I feel like everyone can kind of relate to in some way, and I hope that at least people watch it and kind of reflect on how it was written so long ago, and it talks about a moment in time that's so specific, but if you kind of watch it with a perspective of what's going on in the world right now and how we are living as a society, I feel like it can be a very big mirror. I really hope that's the message that people go into it and go out of it when they watch it. Love is also a very big theme, and healing. I think you can relate to a lot of things. It doesn't really matter where we are. We're all human. So.
Exactly.
That's excellently put. And Nicole, actually, I want to ask, was there something you learned in filming, the Culpables trilogy that you would then bring into this piece of work, like some experience that you kind of held on to that kind of shaped your approach to the House of the Spirits?
Yeah, so many. I mean, I feel like as an actor, I learned so much about leading a trilogy and being there. It was a very different kind of film set because in House of Spirits, it's such a choral show, and there's so many actors and I think that's such an important part of the story. It was something that I had to learn to kind of just be there for so many days without having to kind of film and support other people. And I think having a base of working on the trilogies made everything obviously easier. What I took from the Culpables trilogy is also being in a project for so much time. The motivation and the creative inspiredness that I felt when I finished to go into another project and go into another character was so big that I think made all of the work very, very easy for me because I was so happy to dive into it.
I see. And with Clara as well, as a character in House of the Spirits, she was obviously previously played by Meryl Streep in the 1993 film. Now, obviously, Meryl Streep, acting icon. Did you find yourself looking back at her performance in that version for sort of any inspiration?
I did. I mean, just out of just curiosity, because I love Meryl and I watch everything that she does, and she's a huge, huge inspiration and guide for me in my career. Just out of an honor to be able to go